guy crossing there? I think that's the same person who last week when I went out on Sunday morning also happened to be crossing over right there to the same house. I'll have to review the footage. It's a little bit distant, but I think that's the same guy. Around 7:25 a.m. I just left. Check this out on the left here. Notice it's coming up right as I arrive here. You can see this here. All done now with perfect timing. Notice, came up literally right as I got. It was supposed to be done so that he would come up right as I was passing there, but you can see I crossed over, and then right as I crossed over, he comes up from the little lower area there. Up ahead on the left, you'll see they got this vehicle waiting here as well with the lights on as I come up here. So bear in mind it's 7:30 a.m. approximately on a Sunday morning. Now you can see here. Okay, look at this now. Now coming outside and going to the vehicle. So they got this all going on today. It's all slow too. Watch how slow this guy's taking here to do this. He's kind of timing it for when I come by here. It's gonna wait it out. Notice this now. So you saw the guy right there. Just as I passed, he comes up from that lower little cubbyhole basement area that was supposed to synchronize with right as I passed there, but I saw him coming up, so I crossed the street immediately. And then and you could see he turned in down there. See over there? So the guy who came up, he turned into one of the houses on the left side of the street. Okay, now you see this guy still just sitting there in a vehicle waiting for me to pass. So I just stopped here just for a minute here. Just to intentionally drag it out because it's all a stupid act. Let's see if anyone else comes out just as I'm standing here. You can see him there on the left. Just sitting in the vehicle. He had the lights on. So this is all supposed to be timed to line up for when I'm going by there. Again, it's 7:25 in the morning on a Sunday. Now, they're not anticipating me stopping like this, right? So it's supposed to just line up with me passing by. They play these are grown adults who play these childish games here every time I go somewhere, whether it's going to work, going to the store, whatever it is. And when you see how frequently it happens, you also see that it's all being done intentionally to provoke a reaction, which I give them none of. Notice it? No? Okay, finally, right? It took that long to get ready just to drive out. Look at this here. Okay, so we'll continue on now. No, this is not. No. Let's get the plate number there. So you can see how that was supposed to be done so that she would drive off just as I got across from the place there. They do these things every time I go out here on this street. If you look at my video footage from December 22nd of 2022, you can see how literally half the street came out and got into their vehicles as I walked up to the store in the middle of a snowstorm. So it's just absurd for anyone to say that it's not being done with intent and coordinated. And it also speaks to how deranged and mentally disturbed the people in this area are, that they would agree to do that to somebody every time somebody just goes to work or goes over to the store. It's quite pathetic. So that's why I like to capture these things. This guy here is a disgrace too, this little dwarf who lives here. I believe he's probably a firefighter or a cop, based on the way he's trained in gaslighting techniques and lying and inverting things. A little bit of stuff today. As I come back, they'll have more, I'm sure. But that was very obvious there. And then as I came past, that same dude, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to look at the footage. I think last Sunday as I was leaving. Now, I didn't put that entire footage in the video because sometimes it goes too long. If you put too much of it in, you have to cut it to a certain time frame. So that's not too long, so that, because if you're going to upload it to BitChute, it can't be more than 2 gigs. So So I try to keep it less than a half an hour when possible. Although a lot of times there's enough content to put more in there. But there's some stuff it's like, okay, I'm not going to put this in, and I'll just keep it, or eventually it gets deleted. If it's trivial and it's just same time exit entry, I mean, not to say that that's trivial, it shows proof, but you can only collect so much of that too, right? You're not going to use that as evidence in court or anything like that. The other stuff you can, with the cops always showing up, that stuff is valuable. But I do try to put the same time exit entry stuff out there just to show proof that it's all clearly being done intentionally. So see here now on the left side of the street as I come up here, they got all this stuff going on today. So I think it's when I leave. They're always going to do something there because they're just deranged, sick people, most of them, who participate in it. And like I said, they've moved a bunch of new perpetrators into the area too, because they had all these for sale signs abruptly going up in, I believe it was like mid-October, I started to notice them. So you can see over there another person crossing from where the hotel is. Yeah, some of the stuff that I meant to put into the most recent video, unfortunately I accidentally cut it off when I was editing it. So, one portion in particular focused on how most of these actors who they have these fake TIs, a lot of them who they put online to assume these silly acting roles and pretend they're people who are being targeted, a lot of them will push this trust Trump crap narrative that they're just told to push. They'll push the left-right divide and conquer thing, where it's like, oh, don't worry, when Trump gets back into office, if he does, then everything's going to change. You gotta be really, really slow to believe that that's real, or to believe that any of these politicians are anything other than frauds and criminals and people who are unfit to be in their positions, to say the very least. They're just actors. They're not really about doing anything positive. And they recite scripts, and they do what they're told, because the real government is above them and pulls their strings like puppets. And none of them are legitimate. None of them have the ability to do anything, even if they chose to, even if they weren't all Freemason pedos involved in the occult, which any of the ones who get, to those levels are. With Trump, of course, you can see how many pictures you're going to see with him and Epstein. And you still have people out there saying that this guy's in any way legitimate. Well, how many pictures do you have of him doing the devil horns hand sign, the 3 6s hand sign, mocking people right in their faces, doing that communist fist hand sign? And there's still people who think that guy's legitimate? Give me a break. Now, I don't think there's that many people that are that stupid. I think they know he's fake, but these people are funded to push this narrative, to keep some of the gullible people who are out there and still believe the political system's real, believing that it's real, right? So those aren't legitimate people. Like when you see all these stupid rallies that they do, Trump rallies, they're just actors there. Those are just actors. They work for, they're funded to be there, essentially, right? And it's essentially a military intelligence operation. That's what it's run through the CIA and through military intelligence. And they're just actors brought in to, they're just actors brought in to deceive people into thinking that you still have democracy. You don't have any democracy in these Five Eyes countries, or worldwide for that matter, because these people have a chokehold on every leader, every government, everything worldwide, and those are just the facts. And it's run through military intelligence. CIA, military intelligence. Again, CSIS in Canada, who runs these targeting operations, are just a front group for the CIA. There's no question about that. Because the same things are taking place, identical things. And you see these people, the heads of these organizations, like the head of CSIS, meeting with, the head of Homeland Security in the US, and all these people who have been put into puppet positions to assume roles. And everything they say is an inversion of the truth. So if they say they're trying to protect you from terrorists, the opposite is true. They're targeting whistleblowers and truth speakers and their own citizens. If they say we have to enact all these measures to protect you from something fake that that we made up in coordination and that gets disseminated by the criminal media, they're lying, right? I mean, anyone with basic common sense knows they're lying. So the thing is, when you see that, that's something they promulgate a lot on YouTube in general, is they want people to keep believing in their fake political system, that these criminal fraud Freemasons who have been put into positions as actors are actually going to do anything to change these things. There's no change coming with those people. Remember how like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that garbage they're putting out with QAnon saying Trump's going to arrest the CIA, members of the CIA, and bring them to trial, mass arrests coming. Nothing ever happened because he's a fraud and he's an actor, okay? And so they have these fake targeted individuals who are also actors saying, oh, don't worry, trust Trump, your vote counts. If you think your vote counts in Canada or United States or any of these Five Eyes countries, you're delusional, man. You're delusional. You can't possibly do the type of research to understand the targeting program and be bright enough to do that and not know that the political system and democracy in general in these countries is just fake. It's all fake. It's all just acting. It's all using deceit and manipulation, which is what the devil does. Because at the top, these people are devil worshippers. That it sounds whatever. I don't care how it sounds. It's the truth. So, yeah, you can tell someone's a fraud and an actor if they're pushing this garbage about, oh, trust Trump, vote for Trump in the next. If you're even talking about the next quote-unquote election as if it's real, you're a moron. You're either a moron or, well, you're probably not a moron. You're probably just some fool who's funded to put crap out there, to deceive people. And it's unfortunate there are still people naive enough to believe that. And I'm sorry that those people believe that too, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I wish you could convince them otherwise that it's fake, but, there's some people who just won't listen to reason. Now, there's years back when I believed the political system was real too, but the more you look at the stuff, the more obvious, glaringly obvious it becomes. And, so yeah, that's the thing. Fake TI is pushing this criminal Freemason pedo Trump and saying that he's going to change anything. If you listen to those people, you're a little bit slow. But look at the people themselves. They're just actors, anyway, pushing that crap. The U.S. political system is 100% fake. It is run at the top by the Rothschilds and the royal family, just like here. That's all there is to it. Here, all around you even see, they put the crown, right on the police cars in some areas, right? All over the crown, the symbolism. Now, there's some people out there who say, the Rothschilds are above the royal family. I think they're about even. To me, based on my research, I think they're about even, and I think they work together. You have to remember that when the Rothschilds did seize control of the central bank, the Bank of England, way back in the late 1700s, once they did that, they would have had to placate the Queen of England. Otherwise, they could just say, no, you're not taking any of that. Who's more powerful, the monarchy or them? At that time, the monarchy was. So they would have had to placate the monarchy and go together with them, which I believe they've done. So I think they're about even. And there are a lot of people who predict that the Antichrist will come out, will be one of these members of the royal family. I think there's a strong probability that the Rothschilds have interbred with the royal family too, because a lot of these bloodlines do that. Now take a look at the lady in blue there. Just standing across from a car. Looks like she's taking pictures of her car or something. Yeah, I think they've interbred. You can't prove that because they keep all that, you can easily lie about that, but I believe they probably interbred the royal family and the Rothschilds, the Windsors and the Rothschilds, and all this stuff. It's just like they all practice the Kabbalah. You see, another psyop, just to go into this stuff here briefly, I don't like going into it because it's stupid, but another psyop is that stupid transvestigation nonsense, where they put out, people do like 2-hour videos analyzing who's transgender, and no doubt a lot of these people are. Like a lot of these celebs actually are. But you got to remember, they were probably taken as kids, and it's just disgusting what was probably done to these people, and many of them are MK Ultra victims too. So they may actually think they're whatever, a female who's actually been transitioned. So that's real. It's another psyop like Flat Earth, and there's stuff that's truthful in it. And a lot of that's real, but who in their right mind is going to spend hours putting videos together talking about this, other than people who want to distract away from real issues, right? I mean, while the world collapses around you, you're going to focus that much of your time talking about who's a transvestite and who's not. I mean, let me save you some time. Most of these celebs, at least the females, a lot of them have actually been transitioned from men. You could see they have Adam's apples, a lot of them. And it's creepy and weird, but it's like, you're not going to, I don't know why someone would spend time making videos about that unless they were told to. And unless the whole thing was a psyop to distract, because some of those people will mix in truth about other things, right? The transvestigation thing is just ridiculous. Obviously a psyop. Anyone who pushes that garbage is just one of their agents who they funded. Either that or they're just not too mentally stable. I mean, what time is it now? I still got a bit of time. Yeah, it's just stupid. Like, I mean, but if like the one guy, Mr. E, he's just a fraud and a fraud mason who does those transvestigation videos. He's just a fraud and a fraud mason as well. Say that 100%. They had him one time. They had him stop posting videos for like, I don't know, a year or whatever. I used to sometimes watch some of his stuff, and because he would mix in other valid information too, relating to masonry and things of that nature. But you can just tell the one video they had was when I was in Toronto, and I started watching some of his stuff again, just out of curiosity, see what he's going to put up, and so they were always having people do this fake coughing noise everywhere I went. As I've shown, they do it. It's a sensitization. It may sound stupid to people. That's why they do it. It sounds stupid if you talk about it, but you've been sensitized to it. So when somebody does it, it evokes, it's supposed to evoke negative feelings within you, and it does sometimes, as stupid as that may seem. So the one day I go out, I'm watching that fool, Mr. E, or whatever he calls himself now, Apocalypse Watchman, that fraud. And he puts up a video, and he just starts coughing continually in the video. And this is while every day I had been subjected to the fake coughing sensitization. So it's obvious, right? Like, and again, for targeted people, when they're watching videos and things like that, they will do that. They will go that far to direct something at you. Now, if you're going to just continually cough like that, obviously you'd stop the video and cut that out and re-record it. Unless you were told to put that in there, right? So that guy's just a joke, a ridiculous fraud. But he'll put some stuff in that's truthful to draw some people in. Another thing you'll notice too is with these frauds, they'll have sometimes people go around to the comment sections and say, hey, Mr. E's posting a new video, to try and draw people over to them and whatnot, right? Like, so they're all shills. They had that other guy, Russ Brown, from the UK a few years back. There was one day I go out and I'm talking to my friend in his car about try to convince him of some of these things, because he's skeptical about, so I don't know I think he knows some of these things exist, but he just doesn't want to go into it. So I'm talking about the movie, what was it, Contagion, and talking about all the predictive programming that was in there. And then, so as per the conversation, because this is to show you that they're recording, through your phone, all your conversations, and they are doing that. So the next day I see this, I look on, I think it was BitChute, and I see that this Cretan Russ Brown goes on and is talking about Contagion right away. Just a fake. And that guy also, they used him to push they had all these shills pushing the trucker convoy as being real, knowing that I had put out videos calling it out. There were very, very few of them that said it was fake, which it was. Is it 8 yet? Almost there. Yeah, so Russ Brown. And Russ Brown, of course, he's living on a houseboat, hiding from Skull and Bones on a houseboat. Yeah, that seems... like, if you believe any of these stupid frauds are legitimate, it's just a joke. He's another 153 News shill. Everyone on there is a shill, pretty much. They're not going to let real people put stuff up there. If they do, it won't get seen. It's just shills. Hugo Talks and all these actors. Intelligence agency actors, that's all they are. I'm going to go with Tim's here. Pick something up. So, yeah, it's closed. Damn. I'm going to check the hours. Oh, no, it is open. Okay, sorry. It is open. The lights looked really dim. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, so Tim Horton, definitely a Mason. Colonel Sanders at Mason as well. There's pictures of him in a lodge. I mean, obviously the guy started McDonald's. You know, anyone who has that much success is going to be one of those people behind the scenes. Because it's not like it's legitimate where you just work hard and yeah, you'll have success. No. They want you to believe that's what it is because they want you to believe that we have democracy, but we don't. This right behind me as soon as I start to move. Notice how slow she's going to. Walking behind me with the phone as soon as I turn there. And watch as I go up to the cash now, watch. Somebody up at the cash here. Notice as soon as I go to the cash, they all start to flood up here, watch. Let's see here. Notice the flood of people coming up there just as I faked like I was about to go there, and I turned back and you can see how many people came up. Just a flood. No. Debit, please.
Go ahead.
I see. Notice how she left. So when I initially went up to the cash, that woman there behind me had started to come up there. I moved back away, left to get something else. Okay, hold on. Get this in. She follows back behind me with a phone, holding up a phone. So I'm heading towards the cash initially. You can see with the footage there. As I'm heading to the cash right behind me, she comes up behind me, and I see a group of people coming behind me. Now, there's hardly anyone in there, but they always do this thing where they try to creep up behind you just to send a message and holding a phone. So I turned back intentionally and went back, just making like I had to get something else. Then she moves away from the cash as I do that and goes, just kind of wanders around there waiting for me to come back. As soon as I come back to the cash, you could see her coming right behind me there. And it's just these childish little games that they play. But like I've said before, a lot of times I won't put video up from retail establishments because there's plausible deniability, but there you could see that. That was obvious. And she was told to time that to go up right when I went to the cash. Because they know that I know that they always do these things too, right? So that you could see clearly. Now I moved away a number of times. I made like I was going back up there again, then saw that she was heading towards the cash again. Turned back, went back, then she kind of turned away and lingered in the area, waiting for me to come back to the cash. As soon as I go up to the cash, she's right behind me there. So, it may sound trivial and childish, but that's what they do, and you could see she was checking a phone the entire time, too. So, it's the type of stuff you see. One more stop and we're good for the day. See this orc lingering over by the side of Toys R Us here. Let's see if they're going to send him in here. Something in here. Fake cop. coughing too. Now notice walking for the door right as I go. This is supposed to be timed for when I go in, so I'm going to turn back here, let this person go in, because it's all supposed to be timed where they enter, where I enter. You can see the guy with the black hood there is making coughing noises too, over there, making fake coughing noises, just standing there staring out at the parking lot. No. Yeah. Oh, that woman in the grocery store is priceless. Like 3 different times, as I go toward the cash, she comes behind me, then I move away, she moves away again. She comes back, actually, like she's going to be in line for the cash. Then I go to pretend that I was getting something else, and she comes all the way back right behind me as I'm about to leave.